There is a line no defendant should ever cross in a courtroom, a boundary that separates poor judgment from criminal contempt, a point beyond which power, privilege, and influence no longer matter. That line was crossed on a quiet Thursday afternoon when the son of a sitting U.S. president stood in my courtroom, looked me directly in the eye, and attempted to intimidate the judiciary using his father's executive power. I have been threatened before. Angry defendants promising revenge. People claiming they know someone. Men insisting I'd lose my job. But this was different. This wasn't desperation. This was entitlement. An 18-year-old, surrounded by federal protective agents, backed by political power, telling a judge that charges would disappear if I understood how power works. What happened in the next 17 minutes would ignite a constitutional crisis, trigger emergency legal discussions at the federal level, and test whether judicial independence still meant anything in America. The defendant, legally an adult, stood accused of assault, destruction of property, and underage intoxication. According to police reports and witness testimony, the incident occurred at a private residence near a major Ivy League university. The defendant had attended a party hosted by the child of influential political donors. Alcohol was present. Tempers flared. When another student, an immigrant sophomore studying computer science, accidentally spilled a drink on the defendant's designer jacket, the response was violent. One punch, a broken nose, blood on the floor. When the victim attempted to document the assault for safety, the defendant seized his laptop and smashed it against a wall, destroying years of academic work. The evidence was overwhelming. And yet, when the defense motion to dismiss was denied, the unthinkable happened. The defendant stood up. His attorney tried to pull him back down. He ignored them. And then he spoke words no judge should ever hear. "You need to understand something," he said calmly. "My father runs this country. He makes calls that end careers. You can either dismiss these charges or regret it." The courtroom went silent. Protective agents shifted. Attorneys froze. Reporters stopped typing. I looked directly at him. "Before addressing your criminal charges, we need to address what you just did. You threatened a judge with executive retaliation. Do you understand the seriousness of that?" He smiled. "I'm not threatening you," he said. "I'm explaining reality." I gave him one chance. Retract the statement. Apologize to the court. And we proceed normally. Refuse, and face immediate consequences. His attorneys silently begged him to comply. Instead, he doubled down. "My father appoints judges," he said. "And he removes problems. You're a nobody. One call, and you're done." That was the moment the courtroom crossed from criminal law into constitutional law. I stood. Officer placed the defendant under arrest for criminal contempt, witness intimidation, and threatening a judicial officer. His confidence shattered instantly. "You can't arrest me. I have protection." I turned to the agents. "Your responsibility is physical safety, not immunity from the law. Interfere, and you will face obstruction charges." After a tense pause, they stepped aside. The defendant was handcuffed. The courtroom watched history unfold. Because of the threat of executive interference, because of demonstrated contempt for the judicial system, because of unlimited resources and influence, bail was denied. Additional charges were filed. State and federal authorities were notified. What began as an assault case became a defining test of democratic boundaries. The victim approached the bench. An immigrant, a student, a young man who believed the law would protect him. He described the punch, the humiliation, the words that followed. "My family saved everything so I could be here." He told me his name meant he could do anything. The courtroom listened. Justice was no longer optional. News broke nationally within the hour. Legal experts debated separation of powers. Public trust hung in the balance. Attempts to interfere were shut down by constitutional reality. Months later, the defendant pled guilty. Prison time followed. Restitution was paid. And a dangerous lesson was unlearned. 1 year later, I received a letter from prison. I was raised believing power meant immunity. You proved me wrong. That lesson changed my life. Judicial independence is not symbolic. It is the backbone of democracy. No family, no office, no title ever stands above the law.